Hello everybody, Kilo here, and today we're going to be doing a Magic the Gathering deck tech video. So, I realized while I was playing just some games with this deck that I kept getting mana screwed, so I laid out on my cards and I took out like 2 cards to add in 2 more mountains. And I already had everything laid out, so I was like, hey, you know what? Let's just make a deck tech, like why not, right? I based this deck off of like a bunch of other mono red aggro decks, and this is the list that I end up with. Obviously, it's pretty budget, but it can definitely do some work, and it's only about $30 right now. So let's just go through the cards. So first here, we have 4 Hammer Hands. Hammer Hand is an amazing card. As you can see here, when it enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. And you also enchant it on a creature. And the enchanted creature has +1/+1 haste. So you pop this onto the battlefield, and then you can immediately swing with that creature. And if you put this, the ideal sequence is playing a 1-drop, and then playing a 1-drop and putting Hammer Hand on it. So then both of your guys can attack because this one you played last turn, and then the other 1-drop has haste, and their guy can't block. So like you play a 1-drop, then they pass the turn. You play another 1-drop and Hammer Hand it. Their guy can't block, and you swing with both of your guys. And if you're lucky, one of your guys will have prowess, and maybe you have one of these guys. We'll get to those in a second. Next, we have Titan Strength. This card is amazing. It does so much work. +3/+1 of the turn and to scry 1. And when you do that on people with prowess, it gives them +4/+2, and you get to scry. And we're only playing 19 lands in this deck, which we'll get to later. So that scry can be really, really helpful. So next, we're on to Lightning Bolt. Everybody knows what Bolt is. Just 1 mana instant, deal 3 damage to target creature or player. Insane card. And next, just for budget reasons, we just have Shocks. It's the same thing as a Lightning Bolt, but it does 2 damage instead of 3. And that can be a big difference, especially when it goes upstairs to their face. But a lot of times, sorry, my bad. A lot of times we only want to do the 2 damage to a creature anyway. And in those situations, we probably have a Bolt where we want to do 3. And unlike burn decks, a lot of times we will be using our Shocks and Bolts to kill creatures, whereas burn only goes face with them. Next we have 3 Dragon Fodders. It's kind of good for like last ability, or if you get board cleared, you probably want to keep one of these in your hand. You don't want to flood the board too bad with this deck, unless your opponent is going wide and has a crap ton of creatures. Then you can play those. Next we have Ash Zealot. I only run 2. It's the only 2-drop in the deck, well, besides Dragon Fodder. So there's 5. Only 5. You can say the number of things that cost more than 1 mana in this deck with one hand. There are 5 things in this deck that cost more than 1 mana. That is just crazy, which is also the reason that we're playing 19 lands. So now we'll go on to the other creatures, all of our 1-drops. So first we have 2 Stromkirk Nobles. I really like this card. Can't be blocked by humans. Whenever it deals damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Really good. There are actually a lot more humans than you think. Like a lot of times I can get this thing unblockable, which I'll go over in a second. Like half the creatures in this deck are humans, which you don't even think of. Next we have 3 Frenzied Goblins. They're really good because they just make a dude can't block. Like their opponent, maybe you have 2 of these guys out, you play like a Hammer Hand, and 3 of their guys can't block. So no matter how wide they're going, they're not going to be able to block. Next we have 3 Foundry Street Denizens. I really like this card. It combos really well with Dragon Fodder, because then it becomes a 3/1 until end of turn. But it's also only got 1 toughness, which is the reason that I'm not running 4 of all these guys, is because they don't have 2 toughness, so it's really hard to just swing in for with only 1 toughness guy. These guys, I really wanted to run a 3 of, same with these. I wish I could run 4s of all of these, but I think the other stuff in the deck is just more important to run 4 ofs. Next we have 4 Monastery Swift Spears. Everybody knows what this card is. It's just insane. 1 mana, 1/2 haste prowess. And prowess, in case you're not familiar, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So just an insane card. It can do so much work for you. Next we have Soulscar Mage, basically like a mini Monastery Swift Spear, but instead of haste, which haste is obviously better. Monastery Swift Spear is better than Soulscar Mage, but instead of haste, it has this keyline. If a source you control will deal non-combat damage to a creature an opponent controls, put that many -1/-1 counters on that creature instead. So this means that if you shock or lightning bolt an enemy creature, instead of dealing 3 damage, it gets 3 -1/-1 counters. So what you can do is you can do something really cute. Let's say that they have a 5/5, and you swing in with a Soulscar Mage. Like all that you have on the battlefield is your Soulscar Mage. So here, let's say that this is my hand. All right, I'm just gonna come over here. So let's say that this is your hand. Okay, so you have a Soulscar Mage on the battlefield and this lightning bolt. By the way, you can see the card back here. This is a really nice card sleeves. But let's say that this lightning bolt is in your hand, and you have a Soulscar Mage, and let's just use this mountain as an example as a 5/5. Okay, so you swing in with a 1/2, and they get a 5/5. So like, oh my gosh, this guy's an idiot. I got a 5/5. He's got a 1/2, and they go to block. Then what you do is you can lightning bolt their 5/5, and because of this this line right here, this down becomes a 2/2, and the prowess triggers, so this is now a 2/3, and you just eat their 5/5. So your 1/2 just killed a 5/5 because of lightning bolt, giving it those -1, -3, -3 counters, or 3 -1, -1 counters. So that's just so good. Or maybe they even have a 6/6, or like they could have like an 8/8, and you can lightning bolt shock it and then eat it, because it'll be 3/3, and yours will be a 3/4. So you can just eat huge creatures because of this keyword. Obviously, it's not, let me just put these back. It's not as good as haste as the Monastery Swift Spear, but you can always get this haste with Hammerhand, which is great. And then Aggro Crusader. This card can do so much work. So whenever you cast a spell that targets it, put a 1/1 red soldier creature token with haste onto the battlefield. That is just insane. So let's say that you Hammerhand it, you get a 1/1 with haste. You Titan Strength it, you get a 1/1 with haste. And like sometimes I've even gotten one lethal where they were at 1 health. They had no blockers, and we were in complete top deck mode, and they only had 1 health. Or no. Actually, I don't remember the situation, but I think what I did is I played an Aggro Crusader, and I shocked it so that I would get that 1/1 with haste, and then I swung in for 1. I don't remember what I did with that. I think I might have Titan Strength it. Maybe. Because that one makes sense. If they were at 1 health, I would have just shocked their face. But I think what I did is I Aggro Crusader, shock, and then Titan Strength the 1/1 with haste to give me lethal. I think it was something like that. I don't remember exactly the situation. They probably had 3 or 4 health. But it was a really cute situation. My opponent got really mad, and it was hilarious. So that's all over 1 drop. So we got 4 Hammer Hands, 4 Titan Strength, 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Shock, 3 Dragon Fodder, 2 Ash Zealot, 2 Stormkirk Noble, 3 Frenzied Goblin, 3 Foundry Street Denizen, 4 Monastery Swift Spear, 4 Soulscar Mage, 4 Aggro Crusader, and lastly, 19 Basic Mountains. Sweet and simple, just 19 mountains. That's all you need. There's so many 1-drops in the deck, you don't really need more than 19. You only need 1 or 2 lands in your starting hand to just win the game. Like, even you can win this game easily off of 1-cost cards. Because, let's see, that's like 36 1-cost cards in this deck. That's just insane. And as far as sideboard goes, I don't really have a sideboard. It's just, these are just cards that I had lying around in my, all my cards, and I just decided to put them in the sideboard because there's somebody that I know that I play Magic with on a pretty frequent basis that has a Defender deck, so I just have those in there for them, and then same, like you can see, just 1 mana, destroy target creature's Defender. So they have like a 0/6, and I just, can kill it for 1 mana, which is really good. And Shatter, destroy target artifact for 2 mana, pretty sweet and simple. Just, that's for my one friend that plays Artifact Affinity. So, yeah, just a really cool budget deck. You can obviously upgrade the sideboard, put in some Relic of Progenitus, Grafdigger's Cage, stuff like that. But other than that, you can also upgrade this deck, maybe put in some, well, really whatever you want. It's kind of like a burn deck, but instead of burning your opponent, you're burning their creatures and then swinging it with your huge creatures. So, like I said, with that Soulscar Mage combo, that can really win you a game. Just a huge tempo swing of killing their 5/5 with a 1-mana guy, and it's still alive. So, yeah, this deck can get really cute. You can get like 4/1s with you can get this up to a 4/1, and you can make this guy not be, like, their guys not be able to block. And this guy can get huge. This guy can get up to like 4/4. Doesn't happen that often. Usually it's only a 2/2 or even a 1/1, which is why it's not in the deck. Because if you don't play this card, like, this deck really, like, every creature, like all these creatures here, want to be played on turn 1. Well, not really him, or, well, kind of him, but not really the Frenzied Goblin. You want to be laying him first. So, like, it happens a lot where you have, like, one of these guys in your hand, and then, like, a Monastery Swiftspear. And maybe even a Foundry Denizens. And you always, you know, you don't know what 1-drop to play first. So it can get really clunky with these Stormkirk Nobles, because you want to play those first. Usually on the play, I'll play those first, but on the draw, I might want to play one of the other ones, because they're probably going to be able to have a blocker turn 2. But this turn 1, when you're on the play, is just insane. That's why I only run 2 of them, because it's like, you just have so many other 1-drops that are just better than it. Yeah, so, and this guy can do a lot of work. Usually you only get 1 or 2 1-1s with it. Oh yeah, I also have over here, this is the deck box I use for it. But here are my tokens. I got 2 goblins and the 1/1. So you can see that artwork is so nice on these two. And then this one I just have laying around. But also I got this Ultimate Guard flip deck case. It's so good. Like, your cards will never fall out. Like, you can see the Professor's video. I put this deck into this box and I shook it as hard as I could, and not a single thing came out. So yeah, that's the deck. Here you can see one last time all the 1-drops, my mediocre sideboard, 19 mountains. The deck list will be in the description. And thank you all for watching. This has been Kilo. Thank you.